Hello, my virtual friends. Welcome back to Social Studies. We have discussed all kinds of events from the Civil War and some significant people during the Civil War. And we have focused on Clara Barton and her amazing contributions to before, during, and after the Civil War. But now that we are entering into Black History Month, I feel that it is only right to connect going from the Civil War to learning more about Black History Month. I feel the only right way to connect the two is to focus on Abraham Lincoln this week. Now, Abraham Lincoln is a very important person on both ends of the spectrum. He had amazing contributions to the Black community in the beginning, where he was trying to abolish slavery. He was trying to make everyone equal. He was trying to make our country a better place to be for everyone. And he was a huge contribution during the Civil War. So he had huge contributions to both sides. So I feel like it would be an amazing place to start off Black History Month by talking about Abraham Lincoln and then getting into all of the amazing and wonderful people that we will talk about this month during Black History Month. So let me just kind of recap a little bit with you. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States. He served from about 1861 to 1865, only 4 years, only one term. He truly did his best to try and bring an end to slavery during the Civil War, and he did everything he could to end it before his unfortunate ending. And these accomplishments that he made, that we're going to talk a little bit more about, is what has earned him a place as being one of America's greatest presidents. So we know that Abraham Lincoln personally hoped that slavery would die out naturally as more and more free states were added to the country during the Civil War. So it was, let me see how to say this without sounding confusing. I feel like it's very hard to talk about social studies sometimes without sounding confusing. But there is a specific part of the Declaration of Independence that talks about equality, which you will hear in a little bit, where this is what it was Abraham Lincoln's like main base to his belief that slavery was just going to slowly trickle out and it was just going to naturally take its course and pass and be gone and never come back again because of a base that he knows about from the Declaration of Independence. And I believe, yes. And unfortunately, even though he thought that, oh yeah, as we go on and we add more states to America, more states to America, that's funny. That's so weird to say it backwards. You're always used to saying United States of America, not states to America. Even though he thought, okay, as we take from the rest of the territory that's left in our country and we're adding it to the states more and more, well, they're going to automatically be free states. However, that wasn't the case. Now, if you guys remember from your readings when we were talking about significant events, you'll remember the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which actually gave states the decision of their own to decide if they want to be a slave state or a free state. Okay, so that act completely messed up Abraham Lincoln's thinking and thinking, oh, okay, as we add states, they'll be free states because that's what we're supposed to be doing because of a previously super important historical document. But that wasn't the case because for some reason, we thought it would be okay to pass the Kansas-Nebraska Act and let everyone decide for their own, which in turn had a whole domino effect of events. We start, though, with the fact that the new Republican Party, they had an anti-slavery platform back in 1858 because of the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Now, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, he just face of it, the whole face of it. He was just not down for the count. We are not doing this. And so when he was elected president, well, this was when the 7 southern states, well, it was 11 states total, but 7 out of the 11, they were like, bye, see you later. We ain't doing this. This is not what we're here for. We are pro-slavery. See you later. We will go be our own country. So after those 7 states seceded and they were like, peace out, well, then 4 more trickled behind them and said, peace out. So we had a total of 11 southern states that just thought they could walk away from their problems, which that's not how we do things. We can't be walking away from our problems, y'all. You got to stick it out. That's apparently states can just get up and walk away. I don't know. So thus trickling the Civil War. And as we go through that, Abraham Lincoln is just pushing and pushing, and he is doing everything that he can to bring the countries, I have to say countries because the southern states, they thought they were a whole other country as opposed to the northern states. So these two sides, Abraham wanted to bring them back together. He wanted to unify the country. He wanted to bring everybody back together. He wanted it to be equal. He wanted everyone to be free. And I mean everyone, not just the white men, not just white women, not just anyone who is white. He wanted all the African Americans to be free as well. He wanted to completely get rid of slavery. Well, continuing on. I'm trying to just give you the gist reminder of everything because you're going to learn all of this week. You're going to see all of it, and I don't want to spoil it too much for you. I'm basically giving you a rundown. I just don't want to spoil too much of it for you because, I mean, it's a lot of good information, and I feel like we don't get to talk about Abraham Lincoln just enough. So, continuing with my rundown. Lincoln was working on the passage, not like passage like you read a passage, but passage like you pass it on through, which is a what? Multiple meaning word. So he was working on the passage of the 13th Amendment, which would permanently abolish slavery throughout the United States. Now, this was going to work for the Union side, the Northerns, because they were the United States. Now, the southern states that were the Confederacy, there was no connection there. They were like, boop, boop, boop. Nope, thank you. Boop. Then we have the Battle of Gettysburg. I mean, it was a huge win for the Union, the northern states. It was a huge win for them. Abraham Lincoln gave his famous Gettysburg Address. It was only a 2-minute long speech, but it was so good and so influential, it didn't need to be any longer than 2 minutes. I mean, it was chef's kiss perfect. Now, during the Gettysburg Address, is when Lincoln pulled his evidence from the Declaration of Independence and reminded everyone of what it says. And the message was so clear that, the Constitution said, because the Constitution is an important document that came after the Declaration of Independence. So we have the Declaration of Independence, then the Constitution. Well, the Constitution said that the states could pick their own decision. They could make their own decision, slave state or free state. But the Declaration of Independence, which came first, promised of equality for everyone. It promised equality for everyone. And the Declaration of Independence came first. It was more important. It was the staple stone of our great nation. It's all that, okay? So he emphasized that. He was like, y'all, we said this from the beginning and we're sitting here changing stuff. No, that's not how this works. Which, thus, his amazing, beautiful Gettysburg Address and the point that he made landed him a landslide in his reelection. However, when he was proposing a generous policy towards the South, I mean, he was being so generous. He was trying to meet in the middle without completely getting rid of his values of anti-slavery. He was trying to work with the South. Unfortunately, this created a lot of bitterness towards him. A lot of people were just like, no, 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 not doing it. And so this bitterness formed a lot of grudges. And as Abraham Lincoln continued to work and try and bring the two sides together, in the process, this was when he was unfortunately assassinated. And this was quickly ending his second term that was supposed to be starting. He was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, who was an actor himself and who relied on slave labor. But it's just so sad that that big of a grudge, just loss of life there. And this unfortunately is what gives Abraham Lincoln the awful title of being the first president to be assassinated. All because of him promising to grant rights to slaves and to try to work together with the South to form a policy to help create all the states as free states. I always get so sad when I talk about that, because it's just so sad that, you know, one person's anger went so far to just hurt somebody when all that person was trying to do was do some good and spread some good. So you guys are going to be learning a whole lot more about Abraham Lincoln this week. You're going to get a lot more detail than my quick little rundown there, but I hope my rundown was a little bit of entertaining enough to spark you to be like, oh my gosh, what? So I hope you guys are excited for this week. Excuse me. Don't worry, we're not going to be just focusing on Abraham Lincoln this week. Just for the first couple of days, we're really going to get to know him and look at him and see what he is all about truly, even though we kind of already know. But we're really going to get into all his little itty bitty details, which we love itty bitty details when it comes to history. But then we're going to start talking about what happened after his unfortunate assassination and kind of what did the country do afterwards? Like, where did they go? And this is going to help us lead into the Reconstruction era of the United States and then building it back up, but then it's kind of building down and then it's building back up again. And then we finally can make the more like a better good. Oh my goodness, Ms. Gonzalez. We can make that better connection to why we have a whole wonderful month dedicated to Black History Month. And we can talk about the amazing contributions from the Black community and just, I'm telling y'all, I love social studies. I love history. I love teaching it to you guys. It's my favorite thing to teach. Because there is so much to teach and there's so much to learn about that it's just like, it's never ending knowledge. I love it. So as usual, if you guys have any questions about anything, you know where to find me. Please, 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 you guys, if you have any questions about anything, please don't be afraid to message me. I will meet with you to explain it to you better. It won't take me but a minute if you need me to. Just please get on, you guys. Don't try and do things without knowing everything. I want you guys to be successful. Please remember that I'm here for you and I want you guys to be successful. So if you need me, you know where to find me. All right, you guys. See you later. Bye.